ductwork, the existing ductwork.
And there's enough space to do the.
Well, we're gonna
ductwork
take
over-
7 of them out, we're gonna leave this one here,
Well, all right.
since it's there. Or we can lose that one too.
I hate
feel
to
that-
say this, but one problem that your ductwork has, no returns on the rooms. The return is in the hallway.
Yeah, it's a central return, but that's not a problem.
Well, that's typical, I mean, I
As
know
long as
the
the
best
door's
way
not
is to
open.
have each room, but you know, you look at anybody that's doing this stuff,
Central
Total
area.
Comfort doesn't do that.
The bigger concern is the size of the duct.
Well, that's gonna, yeah, okay, you have to check that.
But you know, if you guys, it's, you know,
Well, it depends
sit
on
down
the
and discuss.
CFM you got going, right? I mean, the
But-
more CFM you're gonna have,
Yeah, but we need less CFM for cooling.
okay.
My duct can always be smaller.
Now,
I think we got a lot accomplished. I think you guys have a much, much better understanding, as do I, because I never knew there was concerns.
Well,
I never knew that
So,
bathroom.
yeah, some
Never
are
realized the
relatively simple and some are complex.
So the
Some are
kitchen
expensive.
downstairs, do you put
Kitchen.
heat in there?
Yeah.
Talk to the people. Don't just
Yeah,
assume that it's
yeah,
not,
that's right.
that it's comfortable enough for them.
which kitchen are we talking about? The
The
main
base.
kitchen?
The main kitchen.
No, the basement
Oh,
kitchen
the
next to the
basement
bathroom.
kitchen. Oh.
There's
Oh,
no heat in that.
that's
That room.
right.
That's
Oh.
12, 15 feet of room
Right, and
outside
that,
wall.
where would you put it up, on the top, just vacant?
No, I think maybe like a toast space heater or something.
Yeah, okay.
Right? You're gonna put a piece of heat in that bathroom, maybe get a little longer, a little more
Yeah.
efficient.
And
boom,
connect it to that zone.
Put something in there, or just even a piece of heat on one of the walls. I haven't paid attention and looked.
I know what
But
you
we
mean.
could get something in there, something is
How
better.
about
than-
electric heat?
Well,
Well,
electric's better than nothing,
cha-ching,
but yeah,
cha-ching,
it's
I mean, the whole
expensive.
idea is to stay away from all that.
Yeah.
Well, introduce another thing, there'd be 3 levels of heat,
Yeah,
you know, that would,
Yeah.
it's an easy, cheap
No.
solution, but it's gonna cost you more.
Yeah.
100%. But the only thing, so we're gonna look to see what those risers do. I'm just curious where they got cut off
Yeah.
and when, but I understand why. You don't want the cast iron radiators getting hot and the unit in the attic,
Yeah.
you know, blowing all that, hot, warm air and they fight each other, you know, you don't
Yeah,
know
I
where
know.
they're coming or going. So you don't want both systems, and I'm glad we proved that they don't get hot. But, you know, I just will be nosy and.
But it
see
seems
what-
to me, to really make this simple, this section, which is the section where all of our people are, for the most part, the permanent
Yeah.
staff,
Yeah.
her and perhaps the finance person, certainly the rector is up there, you know, it's January. And they're complaining because this heat is spotty and it's all over the place. They've got electric heaters going in one room over here. The children person, so if we were to cut off all the radiators and introduce forced hot
Forced
air
air.
and air conditioning from the attic, that would really solve a lot of the problems without having to change pipes and to do all the nonsense that you were talking about, because of what you discovered. You got 3/4 inch pipe feeding an area that really should have 1 inch or 1.5 inch.
And each one of these units is a 1 inch.
Okay. So these are all undersized for whatever reason, we don't know. So why screw around with all that? Just cut them all off and go that way.
That's right.
Does that make sense?
If I were on your board, I would absolutely be entertaining it.
That's
If
not
that was a
question.
1-year unit, or a 5-year-old unit, not so much. But the fact that that is a 32-year-old unit,
The AC unit.
the AC unit, that's gonna be getting tired and more money and belts and condensers.
Well, it's also the old Freon.
The old
And the
Freon,
moment it breaks,
the
you have to replace
efficiency
it.
of it. I
You
mean,
have to get rid of it.
Everything, the efficiency of these units is so
Yeah.
much better
Yeah.
too. So, you know, there's a ton of reasons. Matter of fact, in today's world, you talk about electric, these heat pumps that are out there today are so efficient,
Yeah.
and they work at 0 degrees. You know, I mean, but again, it's ductwork size too, so you gotta take that. But Total Comfort is the people that we wanna bring in on that and discuss that with them. if you guys decide, but we gotta have more of a plan. And that's why, like I said, I was so glad so many of you guys were here today, because now you have an understanding of what you're up against, exactly what things are doing, and why. And, okay, Joe, well, let's go this avenue. Downstairs, you know, to do that heat, that we're talking about, and don't hold me to it, you're probably $3,500, somewhere around that,
Yeah.
could be a little less, could be a little more. To put heat in the kitchen and the bathroom, no wiring. Now, getting a set of heat lines out there, tying it in, doing a relay and all of that, you know, you got ceilings to take down, you got, assuming we can use that same unit, that's gonna get a little more expensive. I don't know, grabbing, I mean, without painting, patching, all that, and assuming that there isn't anything up there, it's all concealed condition. I would say 6 to 8 grand, you know, to make that its own zone.
How about just going up, like, so you cut all these off, what are we looking at as a system up here?
Well, you know, an average, I don't do rooftops, never have done,
Yeah.
I mean, I have done them, working with Mulvaney and Mechanical, but I never was the guy pricing out rooftops. Rooftops are more expensive than a regular unit. You put in a regular system in a house, you're anywhere from $9,000 to $12,000, right? Here,
It's closer to 20.
yeah, I would think so.
I think so,
You
yeah.
gotta
No,
get a
I-
crane, you gotta pick it, you gotta put it, you know, you gotta maybe have a carpenter, maybe extend the curbing.
You gotta
I don't
run a
know.
gas line up.
Gotta run a gas line up, so you're right. you
Yeah,
know.
there's
Yeah.
some additional work, but you're
Yeah, you
right.
can run it where the risers are for the hot water.
No, there's a way to get there.
Yeah.
I mean, we can, yeah, once we're
But
into
he's
the
right,
attic.
you gotta bring it,
Take-
you gotta
take
bring
a
a crane
riser.
in, it's gotta be dropped from the top, you gotta build a base,
Right.
you gotta worry about your roof, so they're all messed up. There's a bunch of stuff that has to go on.
But that gas line can be run right across that attic,
So,
you know, and then stub it out the side of the building and go down onto, that's not a hard problem.
yeah.
That's a relatively easy problem.
Well, okay.
No such thing as a problem, always solutions, it's just a matter of money.
Right, there's always, you can always
Right.
find a solution.
Okay.
All right, but conceptually, what I've said is really where we're at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Can Dimitri or something give us a zone breakout the way he sees what's in them, and then a recommendation?
Well, so that we can identify
Yeah.
each
I
thermostat,
got my
so we
notes
can
I
write.
just took down, but I'd rather see it with your logo on top. And, you know,
All
what he
right,
found.
well, I
He,
think-
he knows.
I think I'll have him come back
Oh,
and meet with
oh,
somebody and go over and tell us what every room is. And we can then say, okay, or give me a drawing that we can identify, and we can say, okay, zone 3, you know, kitchen heat handles this room, this radiator, this radiator, this radiator. I'll
Thermostat,
spell-
num-
but that's
thermostat
gonna
number
take-
4 runs it,
Yeah.
yeah.
that's gonna take
But
a
not
little-
just that, it's gotta say which, you know, how does that operate in the hallway? How does that one operate in that hallway?
right.
Okay,
All of
so
those different things.
I believe, if I recall correctly, I did this a long time ago, before I went to California. In the files, we have plans.
Great.
We have plans that have this section, I believe, so we can pull out a set of plans, make copies, and then we can
Draw it.
sit down with your guy and somebody, I could be me or somebody, going through each one so we all know what everything is.
Exactly.
I didn't, you did drawings of this
No,
whole
I
building?
didn't, no, there are
You
drawings
found
that
them.
exist,
Doc, I thought you left us.
that I found,
Not,
that are in the file.
I didn't even know you left, but you talked about
I
it.
have to check the index, which I have a copy of, to see which one. I'll do that when I go home.
Have you ever figured out what was going on with those registers?
Yeah, we know it